Before we talk about goals, success, discipline, let us talk about something quieter, less visible, but absolutely central to everything you try to do in life. Your relationship with yourself. Because many people are trying to build big things on top of a foundation that is very fragile. On the outside, they look motivated. They make plans. They set goals. They watch videos. But on the inside, there is a voice that keeps saying, "You will fail. You always give up. You are not as good as other people." So even before they start, half of their energy is already gone. Today, we are going to talk about why believing in yourself is not a cliché, not a magical phrase, but a deep practical skill you can train, and why you must believe in yourself before you expect the world to believe in you. And before we begin, if you appreciate content that goes deeper than "you can do it" and shows you how your mind really works, take a moment to like this video and subscribe. That small action tells the platform and tells me to keep creating real training for your inner world, not just motivational noise. Now, Part 1. Belief is not magic. It is a working hypothesis. When people hear, "believe in yourself," they often think, "this is motivational nonsense." They imagine belief as closing your eyes, ignoring reality, and repeating, "I am amazing. I am unstoppable." This is not what we are talking about. Real self-belief is not a fantasy. It is more like a working hypothesis, a decision to assume, "I am capable of learning. I am capable of improving. I am capable of handling challenges with time." Even when you do not see all the evidence yet, you are not saying, "I will never fail." You are saying, "Failure does not mean I am worthless. It means I am in process." Self-belief is the base assumption that allows you to try, to practice, to persist. Without it, every obstacle becomes proof that you should quit. Part 2. The inner critic. Where your disbelief comes from. Inside many people, there is an inner critic, a voice that comments on everything. Sometimes it sounds like, "Be careful," but often it sounds like, "You are not enough." Where does this voice come from? Often from old experiences, childhood messages, school humiliation, family comparisons. Maybe someone told you, "You are lazy. You are not smart. Your brother is better." Maybe you failed in public and people laughed. These experiences left marks in your nervous system. Your brain tries to protect you from future pain by attacking you before others can. The inner critic is a twisted form of protection. If I criticize myself first, I will not be surprised when others do. But this protection has a cost. It kills experimentation. You do not start projects. You do not share your ideas. You stay small. Believing in yourself does not mean you will never hear the critic again. It means you stop accepting the critic's words as absolute truth. Part 3. Self-belief versus arrogance. Some people are afraid to believe in themselves because they think it will make them arrogant. But there is a big difference. Arrogance says, "I am better than everyone." Healthy self-belief says, "I am not better than everyone, but I am not worse either. I am a human with potential, like others." Arrogance needs comparison. Self-belief needs responsibility. Arrogance is noisy. Self-belief can be quiet. It is the calm confidence that you can face life, learn, and recover when things go wrong. Part 4. The 3 pillars of real self-belief. We can think about self-belief as supported by 3 pillars. Pillar 1. Self-honesty. You see your strengths and your weaknesses without exaggeration. You do not deny your difficulties, but you also do not deny your abilities. Pillar 2. Self-respect. You treat yourself as someone whose time, energy, and feelings matter. You do not call yourself trash because of a mistake. You speak to yourself with the same respect you would offer a good friend. Pillar 3. Self-trust. You trust that you will show up for yourself step by step, not perfectly, but consistently enough. Self-trust is built when your actions match your promises more and more. Part 5. Why you must believe before others do. Many people are waiting for external validation. They think, when someone important believes in me, then I will finally believe in myself. But this puts your power in other people's hands. Of course, support helps. A teacher, a mentor, a friend. But if you do not believe in yourself at all, you will reject their compliments, minimize their support, and secretly think, they are only saying this to be nice. Also, if you do not believe in yourself, you may not even show your work to people who could support you. You may hide your talents. Believing in yourself first does not mean never listening to feedback. It means being the first person who says, I am worth investing in. I am worth the effort of growth. Then, when others believe in you, it becomes a bonus, not the only fuel. Part 6. Small evidence. How to build belief from scratch. If you feel that you have very little self-belief, you do not need to jump to extreme confidence. You can start by collecting small pieces of evidence that you are capable. Think of it like building a case in court. You bring examples. Times you learned something new. Times you survived a difficult moment. Times you helped someone. Times you kept a small promise to yourself. Write these down. Your brain often remembers failures more strongly than successes, so you must intentionally remind it. You can also create fresh evidence through small actions. Part 7. The power of keeping tiny promises to yourself. One of the most powerful ways to build self-belief is to make small promises to yourself and keep them. Why? Because every time you say, I will do this, and you do it, you send a message to your brain. I can trust myself. Self-trust does not come from big speeches. It comes from repeated moments where your actions match your words. Start small. I will drink 1 glass of water when I wake up. I will read 2 pages before sleeping. I will study 10 minutes of English after dinner. Not huge, heroic goals. Tiny, realistic steps. When you keep these promises, you are training your identity. You go from, I never follow through, to, I am someone who does what they say most of the time. Part 8. Changing your inner dialogue. Belief in yourself is deeply connected to how you talk to yourself when things go wrong. Imagine 2 people. Both fail an exam. Person 1 says, I am stupid. I always fail. What is the point? Person 2 says, this hurts, but I can study differently next time. What did I miss? What can I change? Same event, different internal dialogue, different future, you may think. But my inner voice is already negative. Yes, so we do not try to erase it in one day. We add another voice. When you hear, I am useless, you can respond inside. This is an old sentence. It feels true, but it is not absolute truth. I am learning. At first, this feels strange, but over time, Your brain learns that there is more than one way to interpret your experiences. Part 9. Stop using the past as a prison. One big obstacle to self-belief is the way we use our past. We collect our failures, like trophies, and use them to prove, I always fail. I never finish anything. But the past is not a judge. It is data, information about how you behaved under certain conditions. Maybe you did not have good tools. Maybe you were exhausted. Maybe you did not have support. Maybe you were younger, with less awareness. Believing in yourself does not mean ignoring your past. It means interpreting it differently. Instead of, my past proves I cannot, you say. My past shows where I struggled. Now I can design better strategies. Part 10. Comparison. The thief of self-belief. We live in a world where you can see other people's lives in seconds, their achievements, their bodies, their projects. It is easy to look at them and think, I am so far behind. Why should I even try? Comparison often makes you ignore your own context, your own journey. You see, their highlight reel, not their doubts, not their failures. Believing in yourself requires a different kind of comparison, not you versus others, you versus past you. Ask, am I a bit more patient than last year? Do I handle stress a little better? Did I learn one new skill? These are real forms of progress. Part 11. Boundaries. Protecting your belief from toxic voices. Sometimes it is not only your own voice that damages your self-belief. It is the voices around you. People who say, you cannot do this. Be realistic. Who do you think you are? Sometimes they think they are protecting you. Sometimes they are projecting their own fears. Believing in yourself also means choosing which voices have influence over you. You may not be able to escape every negative person, but you can. Limit certain conversations. Share your dreams only with people who can respect them. Spend more time consuming content that challenges you with respect, not content that only laughs at effort. Boundaries are not selfish. They are a way of protecting the space where your self-belief grows. Part 12. Acting before you feel ready. A common illusion is that one day you will wake up feeling completely confident, and then you will finally act. In reality, confidence often arrives after action, not before. Believing in yourself does not mean waiting until fear disappears. It means acting with fear in your backpack. You send the email even with shaking hands. You start the project even with doubts. You speak in the meeting even if your voice is not stable. Each action is like a vote for the identity. I am someone who tries. Over time, these votes accumulate, and your belief becomes stronger because it is supported by experience, not only words. Part 13. A simple 30-day practice to strengthen self-belief. Let us turn these ideas into a practical 30-day practice. Step 1. Daily proof list. Each evening, write down 3 small things you did that show effort or growth. It could be, I studied for 10 minutes. I said no to something that drained me. I asked for help. Train your mind to notice evidence of your capability. Step 2. One tiny promise per day. Every morning, choose one small action you will do that day. Write, today, no matter what, I will do this. Keep it realistic, then do it. You are building self-trust. Step 3. Rewrite one thought. When you notice a harsh thought about yourself, write it down. Then write a more balanced version. For example, I am a disaster becomes, I am struggling right now, but I am learning and improving. Step 4. Weekly reflection. Once a week, ask, what did I do this week that I am proud of? What challenge did I handle better than before? Write the answers. These steps are simple, but repeated, they build a new narrative about who you are. Part 14. Believing in yourself does not mean doing everything alone. There is a myth that self-belief means never needing help. In reality, people who truly believe in themselves are often more willing to ask for support. Why? Because they do not see asking for help as proof that they are weak. They see it as a strategy to grow faster. Believing in yourself means trusting that even with help, you are still the main author of your life. You use support as a tool, not as a crutch to avoid responsibility. Part 15. You are not a finished story. One of the most dangerous beliefs is the idea that this is just who I am and it will never change. You are not a finished story. You are a draft, a work in progress. Your habits, your fears, your skills are not fixed. Your brain can learn. Your nervous system can adapt. Believing in yourself is really believing in your capacity to change. Not in one day, but over many days, with effort, rest, mistakes, and corrections. As we move toward the end, remember, believing in yourself is not about feeling superior. It is about refusing to treat yourself as less than everyone else. It is about building self-honesty, self-respect, and self-trust through small, consistent actions. You may not control everything that happens to you, but you can influence how you interpret those events, how you respond, and what story you tell yourself about who you are. If this video helped you see your own self-belief in a new way, take a moment to like this video and subscribe. And in English, write in the comments, what is one harsh thought you often have about yourself, and what is a kinder, more truthful version of that thought? Write the old thought. Write the new one. Because when you begin to believe in yourself first, even a little, you stop waiting for permission from the world. And you start building a life guided not by shame, but by a quieter, stronger conviction that you are capable of growing step by step into the person you are meant to become.